Welcome on back, everybody, to another episode of Listening to the Voices in Our Heads. And we have kind of a first around this channel. Mama Maggie Ward and I have talked a lot about how to write with tarot and journal with tarot and do different things with tarot for self-care and soul care. But we're going to talk to somebody who actually knows the deepness of creating a tarot deck. Everybody, welcome into kind of a local-ish to me celebrity, I guess I should say, Michael. Again, welcome on back, everybody. If you missed earlier episodes in this season, do not miss out. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about tarot. Hello there, Michael. How are you?
Hey, Jenna. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you for having us as part of your day. So, a little bit of a surprise. Someone I've mentioned a lot on this channel mentioned a friend to a friend. So, Michael, tell us a little bit about you, because it sounds like you serve the Maryland and whatnots community a little bit from what I hear.
I do. I'm based in Rockville, Maryland, and I am a full-time freelance artist and also a tarot deck creator and tarot reader.
Awesome.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, this is the first on this channel. We've had everything but creation, so welcome in. Tell us where we can find out more about you before we get to our second question.
Sure. So the best place to find out more about me is offbeatartwork.com. That's my website where it'll take you to everything, both tarot and art.
So for the art community, do you do shows in the Maryland area? Oh, I didn't know this. Okay. Yeah. This isn't on the question sheet, but tell us about your physical and other art outside of the deck making first.
Sure. Yeah. So I create offbeat paintings. A lot of them are even blacklight reactive. They're whimsical and fun, and those white tents that you see at those vendor shows. I'm in one of those. I sell my arts, and then I have occasional gallery exhibits as well in the local DC, Maryland area.
Definitely glad to have a local artist to the epic here. So how long have you then been using tarot as part of your life journey, or this part of this life journey maybe is appropriate?
Well, tarot has actually been a part of my life for a long time. So I got started in it in early high school, so that'd be the early 90s. And but I was always just kind of dabbling with it, having fun, just reading for myself or friends. But then when the global pandemic hit, I decided, well, now is a good time. I have this extra time. I always wanted to create my own deck as an artist. It's one of those things. Salvador Dali has a deck, and all these cool artists have their own tarot deck. So I always had it as a bucket list. One day I'm going to make my deck. So then when I had the extra time to do so, I was like, I don't want to just do a vanity deck. I don't want to just have it just a showcase for my art, which would be fine. But I wanted to really do it justice. So I deep dove into all the history, and so I could do it right. So I get all the symbolic, esoteric wisdom that's encoded over the centuries, and just wanted to put it all in my deck. So I really researched it and then created it over 4 years, and just really it became a passion project, and I loved every step of the way.
4 years, 4 legs to the table. Right? I love it. It's going to be sturdy then. So what are some bits of advice you can give to someone who's reading tarot for the self, for others, for other purposes maybe?
Sure. So advice, I would say, always be true to yourself. I mean, if you're not, there's lots of different ways to read, and you have to read your own way. When you're doing tarot readings, it's really a balance between two different things. You can have your knowledge, so you know what all the meanings are, and that's your right brain. And then you have your intuition, and that's the creative part where the muse speaks to you, and that subconscious, that's where you pull the messages from the universe and see between the cards and that kind of. So that's the left brain. And if you work with just one or just the other, you'll only half your way there. But if you are able to merge those two together, then you'll really be taking it up a notch.
That's a take on understanding a deck I have not heard before, and I am so here for it. That whole brain aspect, really locking into all facets of it so deeply.
Yeah.
Oh, for those of us who use tarot as a writing tool, probably just got some eye opens we missed in character arcs. Thank you.
Yeah, and then I would also say that part of the random magic is uncovering the ideas and messages that if you. I rarely read for myself. I like to have that dynamic between a reader and a querent. So, my advice would be to find somebody that you can trust, that you can work with. And when reading for others, start with what you see, describe the pictures, and then, then you'll start to unlock, what the universe wants to reveal. But just start with what you see. It's always a good place to start.
That's a really amazing intuitive exercise. Because I hear, this is a little pop culture, but I hear Rafiki in my head. Go beyond what you even see could apply.
Yes.
It's right in front of your face, but is kind of what it feels like. Yes.
Right. You start with what you see, and then you progress to what you only you see.
Right. And kind of that conversation then with the querent, does that sometimes then for you become this is what I see, but maybe they laugh or they cry. Did they see something else is the question then?
Exactly. And it's all about a good reader is pulling the subconscious information of the querent up to the surface. So it's really being a facilitator for them, as opposed to for you. It's best to help them uncover, because it's really, they have all the answers already. It's just locked in their subconscious, and your job is just to help raise it to the surface. So they, oh yeah, I'm like, but you already knew that. Yeah, I did. It's fun.
But knowing it and admitting it out loud is two different things.
Yep.
Definitely. This is part of like discovery learning. As a former teacher, I used to, you know it. Why do you think you need to tell other people you know it? It's an acceptance process if you hear it in your own voice.
And a lot of times you're even blocking it from yourself. You're like, it, but you don't want to admit it, not even to yourself. So it's just kind of buried there. And then it's due to the random cards and a good reader, it can kind of pull this up gently in a way that you're like, oh, I'm ready to embrace this now and receive this lightning bolt that I should have received a long time ago. But
sometimes it is indeed a lightning bolt. Sometimes it's a warm hug.
Right.
We would like the warm hug, but we probably need the lightning bolt. Good point.
It's a balance of both, right? It's you got to pull the Band-Aid off, but then the hug afterwards.
Yes, I love that analogy. So as a writer, then, what other ways do you think tarot can be used for the creative process? Because like I said a few moments ago, some people around here use it, like you said, what do you see applies. Now, what do I seeing happening to my characters applies.
Right.
What do you see other creative processes? Because you're an artist, is why I asked.
Yeah. So, I mean, tarot can be used in so many different ways besides fortune telling. In fact, like some of the most famous tarot creators often look down on fortune telling. Meditation and path working is both really helpful for a personal spiritual growth, but and and the tarot works really well with hermetic and Kabbalistic approaches like climbing the tree of life and that good stuff. But as far as the creative process goes, yeah, as a writer, you can use the random archetype combinations to develop stories. As an artist, you can do the same. You can, unlock different ideas. When a creative person talks about having a muse, what the tarot has this collection of all these powerful muses, and each card has, its own story to tell, its own voice. So it's just tapping into that creative collective unconscious that, just using it as your playbook.
That's a nice word choice, as a playbook, because it might not be in the order of events you think it is.
Exactly. That's the wonderful thing is it's because it's comes up so random, because you're just shuffling these cards. It puts the ideas or the players of your play in different combinations that you wouldn't normally think of, and then it unlocks these new ideas and helps you be creative.
Love the spin. So then, if you were to have a favorite card out of all those muses at play, which one would probably be amongst your top favorites and why?
Yeah, it's so hard to pick a favorite. But I love them all. But yeah, if I had to, pick one of the top five, I would definitely have the Hangman in there. He's such a powerful, just it flips the script, right? It pulls the rug out from under you and makes you see things in a completely different way. It challenges you, and I like that. So yeah, it does so in such a magical way too. But it's passive energy, right? It's not an active, like some of I see the odd numbers as more active, and the Hangman is number 14. So, or I'm sorry, he's 12. He's 12, right before death. But I knew he was a passive even number. He's the 12th card, and so that passive energy of having that, you're just taking it in. You're not actively trying to force something. You're observing things in a new way, but seeing that duality between, here's one way and here's the other way, and now I'm upside down. now I forgot which way was mine, and I love that.
And I think the second way you said it might be even more clear. I forgot which way is mine, because upside down for you might actually be right side up.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Nice. I love this conversation, and some of the listeners are going, I now see plot holes in my books and how to fix them. You're welcome.
You can thank the Hangman, not me.
There you go. There you go. So when it comes then to designing decks, what are your favorite moments of this process? And we'll get to the downs on the roller coaster here soon, but let's talk about some ups.
So yeah, the ups would be, when I get to the end of a card, and often when I was creating the cards, I would have to redo a certain card over and over again. It just didn't seem right, and the voice in my head would say, "Nope, you did it wrong. Nope, that's not me. Try again." And so I would have to completely start fresh with a number of cards, and even most of them I would say I revised heavily. So it was just a creative process that I enjoy a lot, because I love the journey of each card. That was the high is the creative process. The low would be the waiting around once it's all finished. I had to wait for a good year before it finally was published, and just the waiting to I have it done finally, and I just want to share it with the world, and now you have to wait. The waiting is the hardest part.
That a lot of authors here are going, yes. Just let me write the books. Somebody else do everything else.
Exactly.
But yes, I feel that right there.
And that's why I so enjoyed the fortune that I had by having a publisher pick me up. So US Games is my publisher, and I just love passing the torch to them because I was prepared to do a Kickstarter and self-fund it, and do it all myself. But I knew that all that took so much work, and it's just nice just to say, I did the fun part here. I'll just sit back now.
That's a worthy choice toward the journey.
Yeah, the waiting is hard, but at least it's not active working for the home stretch.
Right. And even so, though you have a publisher, you're still doing a lot of the marketing and
Sure.
Part of the reason why you're here, but
right.
doing other places too, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I just love to see the snowball keep getting bigger. I mean, I've been so fortunate enough to have word of mouth and pick my game up, my game, my tarot game. It's more than just a game, but my deck has become really popular. It's been on the homepage for US Games for the last couple months, and it's just going up and up. So I just like to keep pushing it along, and getting on channels like yours is such a pleasure, so that I can keep opening and expanding my audience.
So while he's talking about the inspiration a little bit more deeply behind the deck design for this deck as a whole, you all need to go to the description box and get yours. So tell us about this deck's muse, this inspiration, like given the art you do, how did that influence? And
so, I mean, yeah, the whole idea with my deck that sets it apart is that it's different than your regular 78 card tarot. For my deck, for my cards, I have 100 cards. So it's called the Al Cento, which means all 100. So what I discovered was, when I was going back, doing all this heavy research into the cards, I found that there were a bunch of cards that were once part of historic versions of the tarot that were weeded out over the years for one reason or another. And I was like, I got to put those back in. So in addition to the 78 cards that are in the normal deck, now I have these additional cards. And you don't have to read with them if you don't want to, but I've got things like the Zodiac and these lost mystical cards. I have like the Dragon and the Grail and the Falconer. And then I've got all 7 virtues. So normal tarot, you get 3. You have temperance and strength and justice, but there's 7 virtues. And in some,
I always wondered, where are the other 4?
Yeah, right. And so I put them back in. I mean, they're in certain decks like the Minchiati and some of these other ancient Italian decks, but the standard tarot doesn't have them. And I'm like, why? So they're in. You have all 7 virtues. You have everything. And you have all not only just the 12 zodiac signs, but I also included Ophiuchus and Cetus, the additional 2. So you have everything with my deck.
And like you said, if you don't want to use them,
don't have to.
There's a simple solution.
Yeah.
We're just going to offset these cards.
Right. But I like to say that, I like to play with the full deck. So if once you warm up to it, you'll never take them back out again, because they grow on you, and then it's just like, I can't read it any other way.
Understood, and love the concept. So you probably just answered some questions to some tarot readers listening of, where are the other 4? They're back.
They're back.
Brought them back. Yes. So when it comes to designing, what advice do you have as far as like getting into the deck itself, picking, because your art kind of guided that, but how did you determine what color palettes, things of that nature even?
Right. So I wanted to make my deck as easy to read as possible. So it would be good for not only the experts who get all this extra stuff, but the beginner who's just starting out. So I color coded my deck. So all the swords, for example, are yellow. So so it's just nice. And when a yellow card pops up, well, I know that's sword. I know that's thoughts, right? All the cups cards are blue for water. So when a blue card comes up, I know I'm working with emotions. And then with wands, they're all fiery red, so action. And then with the pentacles or coins or discs or whatever you want to call them, they're a nice earth green. So
if you know your elements, it's got to be yellow because of air, and it's like, oh my God, the thoughts. I love this.
Right. And so the colors just make it super easy to read. And then, and my majors are all royal purple. So of course, right. But then in addition to the suits being color coded, I also have numerological symbols. So all the aces have a lemniscate. All the twos have an X for the duality of thought. All the threes have a triangle in there for that nice creative energy, and the four is the stable, square. And so they each have so there's ways that you can start to just read as so much connections can be made between the cards because you're seeing symbols and colors, and it just makes it easy to read and wonderful. So I try to think, what would a beginner like? What would an expert like? And just weaved it all together.
We like it to be a nicely layered onion, and wow, the layers are deep.
And peel all the layers off. You can just keep discovering, because the more you know, the more you'll see. I've got esoteric knowledge from the Rider-Waite-Smith, but I also have the Thoth deck. I also have the Worth deck, Marseille and Minchiati, and just I weaved all the different things in there. So the more you know, the more you'll see.
So literally someone who knows one type of deck, or is, like you said earlier, they're going to have that almost exactly the same but not quite interpretation as someone else. And decks getting universal like that,
right,
are starting so many conversations. I love it.
Bringing the different tribes together, or at least trying to.
It needs to happen,
right?
Because there's power in numbers, y'all.
Exactly. And there's things that the Thoth deck can teach us that the Rider-Waite-Smith can't, and vice versa. And so when you kind of blend these ideas together to make this one unified thing that works for all systems, and then presents it in a whimsical, offbeat way, so it's not so stuffy. That was my goal. And not only that, people say that, the first impression of my deck is it's kind of whimsical and cartoony, but then they're like, well, wait, there's actually a lot, in it that on second look, it's like, wait a second, this is a little deeper than I first thought.
Kind of like how certain cartoons always know they're catering to kids, but mom and dad paid, so you get that. Oh,
yes,
love it.
That's a great analogy.
So because I'm a huge fan of anime, and I know most anime is not for kids. It's part of the way I approach that. It's like, so you have the novice interpretation, which is going to be like the magical girl anime stuff. And then you're going to have the, oh my God, the world's on fire mech interpretation, which is like the seasoned sage answer. Yeah. Two completely different stories. One's okay for kids, one is not.
One is not so family friendly.
And depending on your querent and how sensitive they are,
right,
you need to be able to read that too, I'd imagine.
Yes, and then having the flexibility to to go either way.
So I take it you've done readings with your own deck. How has that gone?
Of course. I love, it's the most easy deck to read with, of course. So I used to give people here's a choice of all these different decks to read for, but now it's like my choices are becoming lower. I'm like, here, are you sure you don't want to read with this one? Because I mean, it's I still give them a choice, but I obviously love reading with the Alcento.
It's your baby.
It's my baby.
Yes, yes. You did all the things to nurture it to be as awesome as it is, and it
Right.
sounds like you're using it to in part build a community. So what's some advice you have for anybody wanting to build a community around anything, I guess, then? How could they maintain it?
Well, I mean, there's so many wonderful communities already out there, so there's really no need to build it from scratch. You could just go to, like, good old Bookface and find there's the tarot history forum, there's my tarot, there's the Crescent Moon. All these are there's a Hermit Cave. All these are wonderful communities that are already well established. So you just find your people, your tribe, whatever flavor works best for you. And if you can't find one, yeah, then of course you can start one from scratch. But there really isn't a need for that because the communities are already there and so strong. It's just a matter of connecting.
So in the Maryland area, what communities would you suggest joining that maybe are more in person then?
In person, I love the Unitarian Church because it's open to all and there's no fees or anything like that. We've got one in Rockville, but to tell you the truth, I prefer the one in Frederick. So,
I hear that from a lot of people who drive up to Frederick. I'm like, that's a long drive. It must be a nice building.
It's a great building. It's a great community, and they're all so open and loving there. So I nothing against Rockville. I love Rockville. I really do. And I'm so happy to be here. But the community is just a little smaller, and Frederick, it's bigger and it's more robust. I mean, there's tarot stores like the Simple Life, which I did a reading for. I sometimes do readings for at that as a guest reader there, and other shops in the Frederick area. It's just got a fun witchy vibe to Frederick, and so the community is just a little bit bigger, and so yeah, in the Maryland area, that's a fun destination.
And their event calendar, there's always something going on.
Yeah.
Virtually, in person, because I belong to the Facebook group. I think Sako Toomey, fellow author tuber to the stars, is somehow in the circles they're in. I know my token wizard and resident priestess, where I go routinely, is like Frederick. We go there too, and I'm like, okay,
Frederick's fun.
Everyone,
Frederick's fun.
It's so fun because they have the labyrinth over there, even, don't they?
Yeah, yep. They've got a little. You can walk the labyrinth. They've got a nice community. I do like them.
Highly recommend, everybody. So before we get into any further questions wrapping up, I have a question about you. Where's your next set of art shows coming, like toward the end of the year and beyond?
Gotcha. Well, my really big one, if you're gonna go to just one, the one I recommend is actually one out in Virginia in Del Rey. It's a really fun neighborhood, and they block off the whole street on the first Saturday of October. And that's called Art on the Avenue. And I usually, for the last 20 so years, I've had a tent at that one. And that's a really great one. So if you're going to go to one, I recommend that one. If you want to find out more about other smaller events or other events in general that I do, you can always sign up for my mailing list. You go to offbeatartwork.com and sign up for my mailing list, especially if you're in the DC local area, because I generally stay here close to home.
I will admit this as someone who grew up in Baltimore and then moved to Cumberland. There's something about crossing the Frederick line that feels like you're in another world. And mind you, I live just over the line in Washington County. So it's like there's so much to do down that way.
Right.
You would never have to leave the area unless you want to.
Unless you want to. I mean, I do sometimes extend my journey outwards, but for the most part, DMV's got everything you could possibly need.
Oh yeah, big time. Like all the fun events.
Yeah.
I'm a rural girl going, it's worth the hour plus drive, just
Right,
saying.
right. And I mean, I like to educate people that DC is more than just politics. There's
Oh
a
yes.
huge underground art community, creative people, everything that you think DC isn't. It is. It's just kind of on the underlow.
If
On the
you want to
down low.
go to museums and eat delicious random cultural street food,
Right?
don't go to New York. Don't go to Florida. Go to DC or Baltimore.
Nothing against Big Apple and the Ohio of the South, but
it is, isn't it? Yes.
But yeah, I love DC and the suburbs.
Oh
Rockville
yes.
rocks.
A lot of them are here in Maryland and Northern
Right.
Virginia. Enjoy yours.
Yeah.
So any questions you have for me before we get to shout outs to people in your community?
Oh, Jenna, I no questions really for you. I just I'm such a fan of you and your channel. I appreciate being on your channel and allowing me to promote myself shamelessly.
That this is part of my give back to the community, and in my opinion, that's part of the reason why it exists. So thank you for being honest and sharing your advice and your journey with us today. And tell us anyone in your community you want to give shout outs to before you remind people where we can find you.
Oh, my pleasure. So shout outs to all the people in the Crescent Moon community. On Facebook, those are my nearest and dearest tarot people. Shout out to Jamie. He's my neighbor next door and good friend. And
wait, pause. I didn't know you two were neighbors.
we live right behind each other. Yeah.
So you get to visit the Ouija board room whenever you want.
I do.
Dang it.
Yeah. Jamie over at Weird Haven is a good friend of mine. We started out when I was creating my deck. I was talking to him weekly, and we were vlogging together, and we've both expanded and grown from our humble beginnings. We're both tarot reader professionals now, and I've got my deck, and Jamie's working on his book, and so yeah, big shout out to him, and shout out to all my peeps. if I've forgotten you, you know who you are.
He's an amazing person. It's been a joy to have you here with us today, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
Do not forget to pick up his deck. And where can they find that out again?
Oh, you can find this pretty much anywhere you find tarot decks. That's worldwide now. So you can even get it off of Amazon, but please don't do that.
Please don't do that. Go to his website or US Games.
US Games Systems Incorporated. You get it right off their site, and they often have special deals now and then, so you can even get it for lower than the normal price if you just wait long enough. But don't wait. Buy now.
Stuff your Yuletide stockings.
That's
today,
right,
y'all.
Yes, Al Cento for all your holiday and Yuletide joy.
Definitely so. And above all, everybody, thank you for spending time with us today. Above all else, you know you matter.